everybody, this is Heather. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator coming to you out of Spokane, Washington. And tonight I have some fun gift card holders for you. I figured this time, at this point in the season, we all get called on for last minute Christmas gifts, and most of the time we end up getting gift cards. So I've got some fun projects to show you that you can use for those gift cards. But the nice thing is, change up the paper, change up the stamps, and you can use them any time of the year when you have gift cards for somebody. So that's what we're going to be doing tonight. It is 6:01 now, so we have crossed over that line of time to begin. I just want to go ahead and get my camera ready, get everything on the screen, so bear with me. I want to make sure I can see all of your comments as oh, that was a nice shot up my nose. I'm sure you appreciated seeing that. So let's go ahead and get started with some of the housekeeping stuff I've got for you, and then we'll dive right into these awesome gift card holders. Let me think here. Usually I let you know if there's anything exciting going on in my household. Gosh, this week has just been working, all the end of the year stuff, all that good stuff. My daughter comes tomorrow for Christmas, so I will have my daughter and my son here, which is kind of nice. I haven't had the two of them together at Christmas for a few years now, so I'm excited about that. So that's really all the excitement going on around here. So let's go ahead and get going on our stamping. Let me turn the camera around, bear with me. This turned around here. Perfect. Line it up a little bit. Wow, it's really shaking there. It's sort of crooked. Okay, bear with me. We're almost good. We're almost there. I want to take a minute here before I totally get going while I'm doing this and tell you guys how much I appreciate you coming alongside of me this year while I have started this adventure in doing these videos, these weekly videos. I love it. It's my favorite part of my job is getting to do these and stamp with you guys. But the fact that you guys come, you share my video, you like them, you do all those things that help with the analytics and Facebook and YouTube, and boy, I really, really appreciate that. I appreciate you. So thank you very much for being a part of what I do. Okay, so now that we have the camera all lined up finally, it does look like I'm still a little bit crooked. You know what? What I'll do is I'll just move this stuff and then it won't look crooked. There we go. See how easy that was. Okay, so just a reminder, our last chance products, we are winding down on the current, the July to December mini catalog, and it's going to retire at the end of the month, which is only a week away, you guys. So if there is anything in this catalog that you are just pining away for and you've got to have, definitely check it out on my website at heathersides.stampinup.net. You can see a list of things that are being completely retired and things that are actually going to be brought back. So when you do that, you can decide then if you want to hold off purchasing it till next Christmas when it comes back, or not next Christmas, but next year when we have our holiday mini catalog at the end of the year. Or if you want to get it now, because some of these items are actually on sale and you can get a pretty good deal. So definitely check it out, see what's there, see what you can't live without, because like I said, there's some pretty good deals there. Hi, Melissa, I see that you've joined us. Welcome, it's nice to see you. Next thing I want to talk to you about is this month's paper pumpkin. As you know, I always do an alternative ideas video with the paper pumpkin, but as you can imagine, the mail is a little bit slow this time of year, and I haven't even gotten mine yet. They shipped out on the 10th or the 11th, and mine is still in transit. I'll probably get it in the next day or so. So what my plan is, I will probably do one on New Year's Day, do my video then. So it's a little later than it normally is, but I'll have it by then and we can get going. Hey, Eric, I see you. Hey, Talina. Welcome, welcome. But anyway, I just wanted to let you know, I haven't forgotten about my paper pumpkin alternative ideas video. It's just gotten postponed this month because I don't have the kit yet. I have seen some sneak peeks at it, and it is really, really cute. So you're going to want to see what I come up with once I finally do receive it. And again, that video will be on New Year's Day. We have a new one coming out, the one that you have until January 10th to order. It's Kisses and Hugs, and it's Valentine-y, of course, but you know, you could take away the Valentine part of it and just make it a love-related thing. It looks like it's going to be really pretty. The sneak peeks I've gotten, the cards are like a trifold kind of card, and then you can also add on these cute little matching gift boxes. So that's something else that you can check out on my website. Again, heathersides.stampinup.net, and see what is what they are showing, the little sneak peeks that they're showing, and see if that's for you. You can sign up for 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, or a year. And of course, the longer the span of time you sign up for, the less expensive it gets. So definitely check those out. So are you guys ready to do some stamping? Like I said, tonight we're going to be making gift cards, and my reasoning behind that was because it seems like this time of year, this time of the season, we always get hit with last minute gift ideas, and gift cards seem to be the way to go in that case. But these are also ideas that all you have to do is change up the paper, change up the stamps, and you can make them non-Christmassy, because we give gift cards year round, right? So this first one that I'm making, this uses our Whimsical Trees suite of products. I think Wonder and Whimsy is, or Whimsy and Wonder, I think is what it's called. So this is the first one we're going to make, and it has a pretty simple opening. It opens like this, gives you a little place to write your message in the middle there, and then you slip your gift card right there in this little slot. And you can't see super well, but there's kind of a, what shape is that? Kind of a little triangle-y sort of cutout there to put the card in. And I do have a gift card in one of these, so let me grab it, because I do want you to be able to visualize the gift card in these. All three of my gift card holders tonight are going to be different, so hopefully you'll get some new ideas that you may not have necessarily seen before. Okay, let's see here. I've got the gift card. Now I have to put this other card back together that it was in the middle of. How's everybody doing tonight? Is everybody ready for Christmas? It does come upon us quickly, doesn't it? Okay, so this one, once the card is in, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about as far as the cutout there for the card. But see how it's got that little shape to it, and I'm going to show you how to make that. So let's go ahead and get going. The first thing we want to do is go ahead and do our envelope. And get a little glue on there and glue that on. I need to put my glasses on. Okay, oops, little glue splatter there. Now when I do this, you guys have seen me do this before, I want you to remember that even though it might look like I'm putting a lot of glue on here, I'm really not putting very much on. Paper tends to buckle when it gets wet, and if you put too much glue on there, your paper will do the same. Your envelope will do the same. So be cautious about putting too much glue on. And our liquid glue, this Tombow glue, is really, really nice for a little going a long way. So don't worry about it not being enough. I had that a little bit off center there, so I just wanted to fix it. Oh, this one's giving me grief. Usually they go, I get them right on there, but tonight we're gonna fight with it a little bit, I suppose. Let's try this again. There we go. Okay. Make sure it's rubbed on there nice. Then we're just going to cut off the extra. Okay. Hi, Kathy. Welcome. It's nice to see you tonight. Well, good. If you only have a couple of gift card holders left to go, hopefully tonight will give you some good ideas. Hey, Jason, how are you? Welcome. Okay, so we got our envelope done there. Now, what we're going to do is, oh, I forgot to cut my base. So, give me just a minute so that I can cut the base. I'll show you the other pieces that we have here, though. This card has a Misty Moonlight base. It's just a little piece that is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then layered on that, I have a piece that is polished pink, and it's just 1/4 inch smaller on all sides. So it is 4 by 5 1/4. And then the rest of it is, here's a sheet of the designer series paper, and it is 3 3/4 by 12, because that'll nicely give us 3 folds that are 4 inches a piece. And then I have a couple of other sheets here of our designer series paper. This small one is going to be the flap that, or the little pocket that our card goes in. I'm also, you can see I've got a bunch of little presents cut out. I don't particularly enjoy fussy cutting. I'm not good at it, but this paper, these presents are so easy to fussy cut because they're just squares and rectangles. So they're not too bad to do. I also have this label. I guess I forgot to show you the stamps and labels that we're using, or stamps and dies we're using on this. So I'll show you here in a second. And then I have this white sheet that is just slightly smaller than this one. So it's 3 1/2, I believe. I'm trying to remember what my measurements were. So this is 4 3/4 wide, and then 4 1/2 by 3 1/2, I think. So, okay, and then I have these little strips that we're going to use to spruce up that little white piece. So that's everything. Let me cut those bases really quick. Oh yeah, Jason, I do not envy your position this time of year at all. Okay. Okay. Now I've got the pieces I needed. I'm really sorry about that. So let's go ahead and get started getting some pieces together just to get some of this extra out of the way. So I've got my snail adhesive here, and I'm going to go ahead move these out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and adhere the polished pink square to the Misty Moonlight. This is going to be the base of our gift card holder. Okay, it's a nice simple gift card holder pattern, isn't it, Kathy? Kathy says she's been using this for hers and for the gift card holders she's been making. Okay, so what I did is I have scored this. You can't really see it too well on the paper just because of where it's scored, I think. But I did score it at 4 inches from one of the ends. And then rather than scoring it my next one, I'm going to go ahead and let it fold naturally where it's going to, just to make sure that all of my edges are the same and it lines up the way I want it to. So take the bone folder and line it all up the way I want it. And then I'm simply going to fold this back up on itself. So I'm making a big Z. See? So it's going to open like this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and stick this down to my card, just like this. Some people would prefer to adhere this piece down after they've decorated it, and that way if they make a mistake, they don't have the whole thing stuck. That's probably not a terrible idea, but I don't know, I feel like playing with fire tonight, I guess. Okay, so now we have that on there. Let's start with the piece at the bottom here. This is where our pocket's going to go. And what I used for this pocket is my tag. It's, gosh, I can't even think off the top of my head what this punch is called. Anyway, it's like tailored tag or punch or something to that effect. What I did is do it upside down because then you can see where you're putting it. Make sure that you center it left to right as best you can. And then I put it about 2/3 of the way in. So I'm getting a little bit of those sides. Let me show you what I'm talking about. These sides right here. Because I want it to show that little dip. And I'm just going to punch that out. Now let's go ahead and glue this in place. And actually, you know, when I am making gift card holders, I actually prefer for the pocket, let me move this out of the way. For the pocket the card is going to go in, I kind of prefer to use the tear-in tape. It's a little bit stronger. And then that way, it can withstand the stress that it gets on it as the card gets slipped in and out of the pocket. All of our adhesives are good, but I find that this one is a little bit better for that. And I'm just putting the tear-in tape on these 3 edges. Of course, we don't want to put it on the top because then we would be sealing it shut. And that kind of takes away the point of it, doesn't it? Okay. So when I put tear-in tape on, I like to go over it with my bone folder first. That just pushes it in a little better, makes sure that it's nice and sealed there. Then I take my Take Your Pick tool and I just use it to pick off the edge of the release paper. Peel it off. It's very sticky. You can see how it keeps sticking to me. Okay. Then we're just going to line it up down here with, make sure our margins are roughly the same all the way around. See, and there we go. Our little gift card will fit right in there in that little pocket. There we go. See? I'm going to take it out so we can use it on our next card too. Now let's do this middle section. For this piece, what I did is I just put the blue as a background and then the white over it. Hi Mari, how are you? Thanks for joining us tonight. Okay, so for this one, let's go ahead and get our stripes on here first. And what I did is I'd have a narrower strip of the blue. It's about 1/4 of an inch. And then the pink, the polished pink, I have about 3/8 of an inch. So let's glue this on here. And they're different lengths because I do try to err on the side of caution and make them a little bit too long to begin with so that I can trim off the extra rather than having them fall a little bit short. So you may have noticed that they weren't the same length, and that's okay. Okay, now let's see here, line this up. And it just gives me a little bit of a margin on there so that that pink shows on both sides. And then I'm going to put it, whoops, on my white piece. So let's glue that down. Okay. And I like to leave just a little bit of a white border there at the bottom. And we're going to trim off the extra. Okay. Oops, it's still just a teeny tiny bit long. There we go. Just got to show it who's boss. Now let's stick that down onto our designer series paper. And now we'll stick this to the second panel, the middle panel of our card. Oh, this is a little bit wide. Okay, I need to trim it down a little bit. Well, I'm batting 1,000 tonight, aren't I, you guys? Okay, hang on just a sec. So I'm just very slowly going to peel this off. It hasn't been on there long enough to really set, so if I peel slowly, it will usually peel off without doing too much damage to the designer series paper at the bottom. If it does a little, it'll probably mostly be covered up, so it won't be a huge problem. But of course, you know, if you can avoid doing the damage in the first place, that's probably preferable. Okay, so this piece really should be 3 3/4. Oh, it is 3 3/4. That's interesting because it did not want to fit on my. Okay, well, we'll just make it 3 1/2 then. So I'm going to cut that down, slowly peel it back up, and then we're going to cut 1/4 of an inch off of this one too, just so that it all lays the way I wanted it to lay in the first place. Oops. Cuts better when you use the actual cutting blade and not the scoring blade. Okay. Now we're going to put this right back together like it was never an issue in the first place. Okay, there we go. So now we'll stick this down to our middle panel. That's much, much better. Okay. And now we're going to go ahead and do that front piece. Oh, I didn't get the the stamps and the dies for you guys. So the stamps I'm using tonight, you'll find that all three of my projects use a lot of the same stamps and dies tonight, just because they are very versatile and easy to use on different projects. So I have the Christmas to Remember. This is just a sentiment set with lots of different Christmas sentiments, and we're using this for all three of the cards. And then my layering circles, which you guys see me use these practically every week, so you know that I love my layering circles. And hold on, because I don't think I used a layering circle on this one. I used the layering circle on a different one. On this one, I am so out of control tonight, you guys. On this one, this is our seasonal labels, another very versatile set, and I'm going to use it on 2 cards tonight. But for this card, I use this big label right here. You can see I cut that. So let's go ahead and do what we're going to do. Move this guy out of the way. What I did is I took the stamp that says "Love and joy come to you, and may it last the whole year through." I really liked that. And we're going to stamp it right, toward the top, right in the middle. And I'm going to stamp that with the Misty Moonlight ink. And go straight down. There we go. Clean my stamp really quick. Okay. Now the next step is I'm going to take I'm going to close my ink pad. We all know the kind of trouble I get in when I leave ink pads open. Now I just cut out a bunch of presents. When I made my original one, I just cut out a bunch of presents and I just laid them on my card to see about where I wanted them. And then after that, I went ahead and started gluing them down. There was no real rhyme nor reason to the way I did them. Let's see here. You want your bows to be right side up though. And put another one over the end here. So I'm going to go ahead and just start gluing these guys down. And in this case, I'm going to use my liquid glue just because it's easier on these small pieces to get what I want where I want them. And let's go ahead and put another piece over here like that. And again, you can see I'm really not putting a whole lot of glue on. There we go. All right, let's see here. And you can, put these wherever you like them. I can never decide if the holly leaves should go up or down. All right. It does help when there's a bow and I can see what direction the bow is going. I think this one the leaves go down. Last one. So now we have all our little presents on there. Of course, I have glue on the desk now. No big deal. Okay, now what I wanted to do is I did want this to pop up a little bit. So you can use dimensionals if you like. I personally like to use the adhesive foam adhesive sheets. They're this size when you get them. That's about, what, 5 inches by 5 inches ish, and you get 6 of them in a pack, and I really like them. I cut them up in different sizes and use them. So I do find I like the cut on them a little bit better though when I cut them with my big scissors versus with my little snips. I'm just going to put that right in the middle there, peel the back off, put that right in the middle of our card. It can be fairly unforgiving, so make sure you lay it down really, really lightly until you know that it's where you want it. Because if you've really pushed it down into place, it's in place and it's going to live there forever for the rest of eternity. So there we go. There's our first card. Let's open this baby up again. Whoops, oops, oops. Oh my goodness, you guys. I put it on upside down. After I told you that about make sure that it's the way you want it and where you want it, and then I did it upside down. Can you believe me? So I'm just peeling this slowly. That's one of the keys, is just if you do have to peel it back up, do it very, very slowly. Okay, let's try this again. What? Okay. Okay, here we go. And it wasn't quite done anyway because I forgot to put the little embellishments on it. So, okay, there we go. That is much better. And then for the embellishments on here, I've got these 2020-22 in color square gems. And some of these colors just seem to match up really nicely. So I wanted to put a few on here. Find my take your pick tool. And I'm using the smaller squares. Let's see, we'll put one there. One about there. And I'm not putting them, straight, making it a perfect square where I'm putting it. They're just kind of all over. So there we go. Now it's done. Hey, Robin, it's good to see you. Welcome. Okay, so there's our first card. What do you think, guys? Now, if you wanted, you could put some more dimensionals under some of these presents that are sticking out. And, I might do that before I mail it. We'll see. But that's what we've got there. So card number 1 is done. Let's move on to card number 2. So card number 2, this one uses the same designer series paper as the last one, the Whimsy and Wonder, but different sheets of it. And the way this one works, it's got a belly band around it. It opens top and bottom. And then our little gift card holder sits in the bottom. Just like this. So that's what we're going to make now. So let's go ahead and get started on this. Actually, I should leave that off. Okay, so the first step is to take a half of a sheet of mint macaron. This is 4 1/4 by 11. So it's just a half a sheet cut lengthwise. And then I did score it at 2 3/4 down here. We're going to make a gate fold. So there's going to be a piece folding up from the bottom and a piece from the top. I prefer to just score one edge. You guys have seen me do this before. I'll show you why I only scored one side and not both. Sometimes when you score, it's a little bit crooked or a little bit off, or you do both sides but the measurement is just a little off, and then they your doors don't quite meet together in the middle, or they overlap, or all sorts of fun stuff. So what I do is I score one so it's nice and straight, and plus then I know the measurement I need it to be. Then I just bring the other side over to meet it, and then I will crease it that way. There we go. So just like that. So I've got the meat in the middle. Now, a lot of people do gatefold cards that fold this way. Tonight we're doing it up and down. We've got the sheets for our belly band there. We'll do the belly band last. I've got the circles that I cut with my layering circles, and really just about any size would work. Whatever, what I would do is go with whatever message you want to put, or if it's a stamped image or whatever, just pick the circle that fits what you want to stamp. That's what I did. And then we've got a white piece for the center there. We have a few pink pieces for our flaps, along with, and this is Blushing Bride. And then I have these pieces that match our envelope, which we're just about to make. Again, these are from the Whimsy and Wonder Designer Series paper. I've got a couple of strips here for the inside on our white, and I do have some Blushing Bride pink, the frayed grosgrain ribbon, and I love this. I think it's so pretty and it's soft. This is going to be retiring, guys, and it's such a pretty spring color too, so you might want to stock up on it. It's going to be going away. It's going to be retiring, but if you buy it now, you can set it aside for like your spring cards. Okay, so let's do our envelope. I think there's a little glue booger in my applicator here. Okay. So does everybody have all their Christmas shopping done? Anybody still have some shopping they need to do? I guess I was kind of a slug this year and waited, and but I did get it all done. I did a lot from Amazon, and then a lot from small businesses that I know as well, because I think that's important to support those small businesses. Okay, so let's cut this off. You're all wrapped and under the tree even, Robin. Nice. We're so bad. It's just me and my husband. Well, my son did just move in with us for a short term, but for the most part, it's just me and my husband here. And so we didn't even bother to put up a tree this year. Are we horrible? I do have two of my kids coming, though, to visit. Or, well, the one that's staying here, and then one is coming to visit. She comes tomorrow. Okay, so we've got our envelope. Now, for these panels I was talking about, they're all the same size. They're all 2 3/4 by 4. And then they have a little piece of Designer Series paper that's just slightly smaller, about 1/8 of an inch smaller all the way around. Carla says she's done with her shopping. Everything's wrapped. Food's all bought. You're ready to go, Carla. And Robin's been doing that for 5 years. That the kids finally decided they wanted the tree and the presents, huh? Okay, so let's go ahead and adhere these together. Last week we talked a little bit about leaving the tree up year-round, which I don't have a problem with. Once you put it up, you might as well. I saw the best house decoration, though, on probably Facebook or Instagram yesterday. And this guy had taken some PVC piping and made just a very basic skeleton of a body. But he made it so that it was on kind of a tipsy hanger, so it swayed back and forth. And then he put clothes on it and hung up some lights on his roof, and then hung guy that he'd made. Whoops, I don't want to put that there. Oh well. Hung the guy that he'd made up with the lights and had like the tail end of the lights tangled around the guy's feet. So it looked like he was hanging on to the roof, but he'd fallen off or was in the process of falling off. It was really cute. And because it did that little back and forth swing sort of thing, from a distance, it looked very realistic, like somebody falling off their roof. It was pretty cute. Okay, let's this last one here. Now on this one, I did something a little bit different with the pocket that I'm going to show you in a minute, the pocket that the gift card is going to go into. But let's work on the front of our card first. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these down. Like I said, every one of these cards is a little bit different, just to give you some different ideas for gift card holders. Oh, it was awesome, Robin. If I can find it, I will post it on my page because it was so clever and it really was cute. Okay, so let's make sure which way I want my leaves going. Okay. So now I'm going to wait to do the belly band because this does get a little bit thick with the stuff on the inside. And so it's better to do the belly band at the very end, make that last, because then you can ensure that it fits properly. So let's go ahead and do the inside of our card. So I have my white piece, and then I've got a couple of these little strips that match the DSP on the front. So let's glue them on. There's one. And these are so narrow you really can't see the design on it itself, but it does add a little bit of color for interest. Okay. And this one I did one at the top and one at the bottom. We'll cut off the ends. Okay. We'll turn off my heater. Okay. And so this is going to go in that middle section right here. Gives you room to write a nice message to the person. And then we have our little pocket down here. Now let me show you what I did with that. This is my big old stamp and cut and emboss machine that my son is absolutely fascinated with and keeps trying to steal it because he sits here and just feeds the plates through with nothing on them. He just likes to feed the plates through. Okay, let's see. That's pretty up close. Let's see if I can get it up a little higher for you. Bear with me as this moves a little bit, but I want you to be able to see. Okay. That looks a little bit better. Okay, so what I did is I took my circle layering dies and then I just took the smallest circle here. It's 1 inch. And let's see, where did I put my Oh, now the mystery is, where did I put that piece? Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm going crazy. Oh, here we go. I moved it over here so that I wouldn't lose it. Ha! Okay. Wow, Robin, that's nice. Your son got you a Gemini. Wow, very nice of him. Oops, let's put all the pieces in here. Okay, so what I did is I took this 1-inch circle and see if you can see. What I did is I put it on. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it once I do it down on the machine, so I want to show you. I put it about halfway up. I made sure that it was centered and then put it about halfway up. I am using a little post-it tag to hold it in place. If you have a hole punch, we used to have a 1-inch hole punch or circle punch, and you could use that too. Okay, so take my tag back off because you can reuse those. And see, it just cut off that little semicircle right there like that. And that's going to give me my little, that little peekaboo where you can see the gift card. So let's put my dies away before I lose them. I'm telling you, if you do not have the circle layering dies, they are definitely a must-have because you've seen how often I use mine. I use them for all different stuff. Let me move this beast out of the way. Okay, now I'm going to use the Terran tape again because, like I said earlier, I want to make sure that I have a nice strong adhesive on there. Wow, look at that mess I have going, you guys. It looks like I'm having fun, doesn't it? Okay. I also use this desk for my regular 9-to-5 job. And so all this mess has to get cleaned up tonight so that I can use the desk for other purposes tomorrow that aren't nearly as much fun. Okay, now take my bone folder and scrape it down. Let's see here. Take off the release tape. Release paper, and now we're going to put this on. Oops, that's the one that's already made. It doesn't need one. Okay, now let's try this. Putting it, I want to make sure my card is going the right direction here. Okay, so we're going to put it on this flap down here at the bottom. Now, if you wanted just to kind of keep it dressed up, you could take another piece of the Designer Series paper and put it up here just to keep it all filled in. I chose not to, but that is totally up to you. And I'm going to put the card in it to do the belly band just to make sure that there's enough thickness there to really represent what the belly band needs to be able to do. So the first step is I took a strip of mint macaron. It is 1 1/4 inch by 11, and it isn't going to totally, I think it's not going to totally meet in the middle. Well, it'll meet in the middle, but it won't overlap like you would need a belly band to, but that's okay because we're going to be doing another layer, and it will do that. So first I folded it, and now I'm going to go ahead and hit it with my bone folder. Do it again. Now, trying to get it straight on here. Now, I could would pull these together so they're nice and tight. You don't want to, because you want them to be able to, you don't want your belly band so loose that it just falls off, but you don't want it so tight that it's hard for them to get it off or back on. So there we go. So now I've got my belly band like that. Let's see here. I do worry about it catching a little bit there, but we'll see if we have to trim it, we will. Now I have another piece I want to put over it. A lot of people will glue them together and then fold them. I find that the paper doesn't lay quite right when you do it that way. So what I recommend doing is get it folded, then put your adhesive right in the middle, lay that strip down. Now we're going to go back to the card, fold it that way, and fold it that way. Now the paper is going to lay the way it should, because it was creased or bent, folded where it really needed to be based on the thickness and what was under it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to glue these pieces together. You can see they don't quite meet in the middle there. That is perfectly okay, because we're going to have a little circle over the top of that anyway, so it won't matter. It won't show. So let's glue this down. I do want to make sure these pieces are adhered properly. To one another. Now I'm going to put a little glue or adhesive right there. Oops. Let's put some here. And we just line it up. There we go. So now we have our belly band. Test it, make sure it goes off and on easily, or easily enough, because you still would have time to undo that adhesive a little bit and redo it if it's too tight. This one is pushing its luck. Okay, now I have two circles that I cut from my layering circles. One that is plain white and one that is the Blushing Bride with the little ruffled edges. And the stamp I used on this one, what one did I use? May This Be a Christmas to Remember and Cherish. And for this, I used the Mint Macaron ink. So let's go ahead and stamp this. Right there. Okay, now I'm going to clean off my stamp. You know, the nice thing about stamping on circles is if it's not straight, you just adjust your circle till it is. That's the kind of thing I can work with. And I did forget to put my ribbon on here, so let's put the ribbon on first. And again, what I did here is I took a little bit of, see, the mini glue dots work really well with fabric. So I put a few glue dots on here to hold my ribbon in place. And I want to do this part first on the back. And I think I'm going to lay a few of them on there just to make sure that ribbon is held right where I want it. And I'm just putting it kind of in the middle. You don't need to be too precise, but you do want to make sure you're keeping it in the middle because that's where you're going to want your ribbon to be. Then I'm going to stick it on there just like so. Then I'm going to put a few more glue dots on here. Again, this just gives me a little extra. You don't have to do that. I mean, you could just wrap it around and then in here the ends, like you're going to see how I do that. But being that they're going to be on a band that's getting pulled off and on and off and on, I feel like it's just a little bit extra to be able to get that ribbon to stay in place. So there we have that one. And I did cut it a little bit long so we can trim some of that extra off because that's going to be covered up. Let's put a couple more on there. Put one there. Okay. Now we're going to pull this. Again, remember, you don't want to pull it tight or your belly band's going to be too tight. So you just want to lay it on those glue dots. Now, what you can do if you choose, and I think I still may, is take a little bit of tear and tape just to go over these ends to hold them in place, to hold them down so they don't move all around and get rubbed and frayed. So there, that holds those down. Now we'll take our little circles that we created and I'm going to glue this down. Make sure I'm putting my adhesive the right way. The first time I made this, I did the adhesive the wrong direction. Let's see here. No, it wasn't on this one I did it the wrong direction. It was on the back of the pink one that I did it the wrong direction. It was kind of funny. Okay. So you just have a little tiny bit of that pink border, and I like that because it just pops a little bit, but it's not too obtrusive. Then I'm going to take some tear and tape because, again, like I said, it stays on, it holds to the fabric really well. Okay. And I'm putting a couple strips on there just to be sure. Oh, you know what? Did I pop these up? I did. I popped these up on foam adhesive. Okay, so I'm just going to move this out of the way. I'm not going to bother tearing that off. It was the wrong adhesive to use, but I don't want to tear it off because it'll just make a mess and I might as well just leave it as it is. What I used on the back of this was another one of my foam adhesive sheets and I just have a little square cut. I'm going to go right here like that. We're going to stick it here. I may need to move that because what it ended up doing is it was too wide for my band and it was sticking to the card itself and I don't want that. So we'll put it right there. That way we know it's the right width. And these sheets, like I said earlier, are really, really adhesive, so they'll stick to that ribbon really well. And then, you know, we've got to glitz it up just a little bit because why wouldn't we? Give it a little extra sparkle. And we'll put some rhinestone basic jewels on there. Come on, you. Show it who's boss. There's no real particular positioning I have in mind here where I'm putting these. Just kind of putting them around. I do like to try to make a triangular pattern. There we go. So put these away. Put my card together. Okay, I have my sample one here. And here we go. Here is our one that we just made. Got the card right there. Take that out so we can use it on our next card. What do you guys think of that one? Thanks, Robin. Robin says, fabulous. Okay, so there we go. 2 down. Ready for the third one, you guys? Let's see what I have in store for you now. Now, this one I changed it up a little. I'm using different stamps. I'm using different designer series paper. And this paper is Christmas, Painted Christmas, I think is what it's called. And I'm using the Christmas season stamps. And I used the tailor-made tags. And I used the stitched rectangles. You'll see what that's for. So let's get going. Okay, so now this one, we're going to start with a basic card base. Tell me, I didn't cut that. What is with me tonight? All this cutting I missed. Hang on. Okay. Fortunately, it's the big and easy ones that I forgot, so they don't take a lot of time to cut. Okay. Actually, let's score this one. So I'm gonna, this is 4 1/4 by 11, and I'm gonna score it at 5 1/2. So it folds in the middle there. Got a nice crisp edge. This is the card we're going to make, you guys. Friends like you make this season special. We're going to open it up. And this little piece right here is our pocket. Uh-oh. Got to be careful. I guess I need it to be a little bit wider. So we'll use a little bit wider one, but this is your pocket that the card's going to go in. Now what I could do, find my snips, since this is not quite wide enough, I could just take my scissors and cut it a little, but I'll probably just take my die cut and make a bigger one on this one. You'll see what I'm talking about when we get to that part. So got some designer series paper. Again, this one is called Painted Christmas. Let's go ahead and do our envelope first. Quite a few little pieces here. I watched the funniest program the other day, you guys. It's not even Christmassy or anything, but the Disney, I assume it's the Disney Channel because I found it on Disney Plus, where they took 2 episodes, one from the old show Different Strokes and one from Facts of Life. And like this would so not appeal to the next generation, but if you're my generation, you would love this. But they had current actors come in and replace the actors that we all know and love in those parts. And then, oh, hi, Lori, how are you? And anyway, it had them redo those, an episode from each of the shows. And they pretty much stuck to the original scripts, but they had all these big name people playing the roles. And it was so funny. So if you have Disney Plus, look for it. It's called Live in Front of a Studio Audience or In Front of a Studio Audience or something like that. And it does these 2 episodes, and it's just hysterical. Like, Jennifer Aniston played Blair from Facts of Life. Kevin Hart played, why can't I think of his name? Arnold from Different Strokes. And, like, there's this one scene where he's getting down off that top bunk bed, and, of course, his little legs can't reach, and it's just hysterical. Okay, so we got our envelope done. Let's go ahead and do the front of the card first. So the first thing I did is I have the stamps to create Let me show you here. There was the stamp here that creates the holly and the berries, and I have already stamped and die cut those for us. So those are right here. But I also took, let me find the right pieces. These guys, these are little pine boughs, and I stamped all over my green card, or my green cardstock. This is the, oh, why can't I think what it's called? It is, I always know it, but I always want, it's shaded spruce. And I always want to say it's evening evergreen, but it's not. It's shaded spruce. And what I did here is I took this one that has the 2 sprigs and I just randomly stamped it all over this piece. Okay, and I didn't need a whole lot. I just, wanted to give it a little bit of interest over just a plain green piece of cardstock. So now clean the stamp. I love the color of the shaded spruce, but I swear this color hates me. It gets everywhere. It's such a mess. Whenever I use it, I end up going to bed with totally green fingers. And okay, so now I have the stamp that is just the single piece of the bow, and I am stamping off with this one every time, and I am doing a little middle piece that's just slightly lighter than the others, which if you're not familiar with stamping up, that's why or stamping off, that's why you stamp off. So you can use the same color but get a slightly lighter image. Did I stamp that off? I don't think I did. There we go. All right, so now I'll clean off this stamp. I'm using my Simply Chamois to clean my stamps. If you don't have one of these, it is a stamper's best friend, and I really recommend it. I was a holdout for a long time. I had the Stampin' Scrub that Stampin' Up has had for forever, and it's a great cleaner. So I stuck with it. I refused to go to the chamois. And then I don't know what got into me, but I decided to give it a whirl, and I love it. And now I hardly ever use my other one. Okay. Oh, good night, Robin. Good night, Kathy. Oh, Robin was saying good night to Kathy. Thanks for joining us tonight, Kathy. You can catch the rest of it. I'll have it here on Facebook, and I'll also have a uploaded to YouTube, so you can watch a replay later if you want. Okay, so I've got my green piece here. Then I took made two labels, a white one, and then one out of our designer series paper. And the white one, I'm going to stamp my message on it, and it's friends like you make this season special. And for this I used Real Red. Real Red is another dangerous color for me, though it's not as dangerous as the shaded spruce. The Real Red can get me into some trouble too. So ink it up, and I'm just gonna kind of line it up right about 2/3 of the way up the tag. Ta-da! Even got it straight. Okay, clean up my stamp. Sorry, I'm rocking the camera when I do that. Get all this yucky stuff, not yucky stuff, but the ink off of here so that it doesn't rub up against everything else and get real red everywhere. Looked like I had a bloodbath in my stamp room. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and, well, close this ink pad because it's the smart thing to do. Okay, now let's move these guys out of the way. I don't need them right now. But I'm going to take my little holly leaves and the holly berries, and I'm going to put them together. Now, I really only wanted 3 of these berries. There's 4 on the stamp and 4 that get die cut out. But I don't want all 4, I just want 3. So this poor guy just didn't make the cut. You could take that one and make a Rudolph nose with it. First, I'm just kind of laying these out to figure out how I want them to go. About like that. Okay, so let's go ahead now and we'll glue these on. Put our other one on here. And now I want to pop up these little berries a little bit. So I'm going to use my mini dimensionals. Just put one on the back of each berry. They're the perfect size. Come back. Oh, now you're going to try to give me trouble. Okay, so now, oh, it looks like the back already peeled off of that one. Okay, no problem. That's good. It's already done for me. And let's see, put these right about like that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to stick these onto the front of our shaded spruce piece. We're going to kind of put these together. See, I want the one to stick out behind the other one a little, but not too much. Line up the circles there. There we go. And now we'll just stick that down to the card. Did I use? I did. Okay, so I used foam sheets again. So now we have to find my foam sheets again. Okay. And I'm just trimming this down. That'll be good. And these little pieces that I cut off, I always just throw them in my basket. I have a basket of all the things that I get out every single time I stamp, so I just keep them in that box. And so the little extras that I cut off, I put them in there too, so that when I need a little bit of the foam adhesive, I've got it right there. Okay. Now I want these to be at a bit of an angle, so we'll go just like that. And then I have some of the sheer sheer red ribbon. I'm going to tie a bow. Get all the little pieces sticking up and out the way I want them. That looks like a okay size, I think. I always like to stick my finger in there just to kind of round out those ears of my bow, my loops. And of course I will trim down that red, but I'm going to wait until I have it on the card to see where I want them. So I'm going to use glue dots to stick the bow down, or stick the ribbon down. Again, glue dots are great with fabric. And I'm just sticking one right there on the back of my bow. This also helps to keep the bow from coming untied. So even if you use another way of sticking your bow down, I recommend putting one on the back because it just keeps the bow intact. Helps to keep the bow intact anyway. Now let's trim this. Oh, I cut that one a little too short. So now we have to play the game where we cut the next one, and then we spend all night cutting it until there's nothing left because we keep trying to even it up. Anybody else do that? Okay. Move these guys out of the way. Now let's go ahead and stick this onto our card base that we created. Okay, move some stuff out of the way. Double checked and made sure that my fold was at the top because the way I'm going tonight, I would have done it upside down. Okay, so now we've got the front of our card done. Now we're going to do the inside. Now this is just a sheet of the Designer Series paper. It's 4 inches wide by the full 12 inches. But when you do the 12 inches and you crease it to make your little pocket that you're going to use for the gift card, it ends up not quite reaching the ends. And let me show you. What I did is I've got this piece and I wanted it to fit about 4 1/8. So, well, first what I did, let me backtrack here. First what I did is I scored it right in the middle, so that would be at 6 inches. And then I figured out about how much I wanted my little pocket to stick up and how I wanted it to fit. So what I did is I made it 4 1/8 inches tall. So I scored it at 4 1/8 on this end, and then I flipped it around and did 4 1/8 from this end, just because math is hard. Okay, so let's fold this. I'll show you what we've got here, just in case that was confusing. Okay, so when it's on the card, what I had is 4 1/8 inch here, 4 1/8 inch here, and then the remainder comes up like this to be my pocket. And what I need to do is I do need to glue down the sides of my pocket and the bottom. So I'm going to use the tear and tape. Oops. This paper, it's a little hard for me to see where the score lines are. Okay. And if I don't have it exact, that's okay, because it's just going to be folded up on itself anyway. So if I make it a little too long, it just is a little extra adhesive. And then I want to put a strip going this way. Okay. And then take your pick tool, take that release paper off. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm just folding the card on itself, folding it in half. So now I have my two pieces that are going to fit in here in the card. And you can see it doesn't fit all the way to the ends. And you can leave it just like that or stamp down here on the border if you wanted to do something like that, like take a really cute border stamp. But what I chose to do with this one is take the easy way out. And I'm just lining this up, trying to make sure my margins are about the same. Now I'm going to do it on the other side. Okay, now when I put this in, it's going to overlap that green and it's going to look like it's exactly what it should have been, right? Okay, so let's get some adhesive on here. Yes, we should probably put it on all the edges here. Okay, so first I'm gonna line up this first one. And get your center like that. Whoops. What's a little tricky is you want to make sure you line it up left to right with your green. Get that center in the center. And then, oops, see, I'm already going crooked. And then line it up on the other side so it matches. There we go. Now what I should have done before, oh poop, I did it upside down. Okay, let's fix that. I used a lot of adhesive on that, so it doesn't want to come too willingly. Now what I should have done before that, and let's see if it'll still let me, I don't know if this adhesive will get in the way, is I'm going to take one of these rectangles. Now the rectangle I used before was this one, but it wasn't quite big enough, wide enough. So let's see here. I could use this one and still have a little bit of an edge. So I think that's what I'm going to use this time around. We'll try it and see how it goes. Let me grab my cutting and embossing machine. Okay. Now, can you see, maybe I'll fold this edge up while I do this just so that you can see what I'm talking about. What I'm going to do is take my die and I'm putting it right here on the edge of this flap to cut it. But I don't really need it to be too deep, so I'll probably just do about like that much. Let me put my plates back in place. It's a whole lot easier if you haven't already put all the adhesive on your paper. Okay. Now I know I know how to fix this. I know how to fix this. Okay, I'm going to take my silicone mat, put it right in the middle there. Okay, so you can see I've got my die all lined up in there. Oh, that was loud, wasn't it? Get all the pieces together. And we're going to feed it through. All the snap, crackle, and pops that you hear. It does not want to go through that extra layer, but that's okay. It didn't want to go through the layer of the silicone mat, but that's okay because it did get the area I really did need, so I just was able to go backwards and pull it back out. Okay. Okay. So now if I take this off, take the die off, see how it cut that little lip there? And I should be able to put my gift card in there. Now it might have, the adhesive might have gotten too far over. That could be a problem. So you might want to play with adhesive. Even though I recommend using the tear and tape because it's stronger, you might be better off using just like a small bead of the liquid glue so that it doesn't do that. Okay, make sure I'm doing it the right direction this time. So I'm lining it up along my green piece here, making sure I'm straight, and then lining it up with the green piece over here. There we go. And then we have our little gift card that goes right in here. There, see? So it fits in the little pocket like that. Now we have this piece that we're going to do a little stamping on and then stick it in there. So for this, I have my real red, I have my shaded spruce, I have the berries. No, that's an empty block. Now I have the berries. That's funny. Okay, let's try that again. There. And here I have the little stem that the berries go on, just to give it a little something something on the inside of the card. Okay, close that ink pad. I have finished using the green and I'm not wearing a bunch of it. I'm so proud of myself. Okay. Now, line these guys up. I do like these photopolymer stamps for things like this because you can see exactly where you're stamping to make sure everything gets lined up the way it should. There's the inside of your card, so you can write a little message if you want. Again, make sure I'm going the right direction on this card. And it looks like I cut this piece a little too big. So, again, we're going to trim it. I had cutting issues today. Clearly. So I want this to be 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. It's a whole lot easier to do this when you don't already have adhesive on your paper, but we do what we got to do, right? Looks like I left behind a little adhesive there. Not a big deal. I'll use my adhesive eraser later and pull that off. So I guess this piece we only want it to be about 5 inches because we do have a little bit of bulk from that pocket. Okay, now let's stick this in there. And there we go. There is our last gift card. So on the front it's a regular card. Open it up and there you go. Ta-da! Take that out because that's actually my mother's Christmas present, so I want to make sure that it goes in the right card. Okay, so these are the cards we've made tonight. So let's clean up the mess here. Stick that back down. You stay. Clear some stuff out of the way here. And take a peek at everything we've done tonight. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. So card number 1, well, it was 3, but that's okay, was this one with the red and the green and the painted Christmas paper. Then we have this one with the Wonder and Whimsy with the belly band that opened this way. And finally, we have this one that we made, also using the Wonder and Whimsy and Wonder paper, cutting out those little presents. And it's a trifold like this. Some of you were saying that you were making cards right now using this. Thanks, Robin. Okay, so that's what I've got for you guys tonight. Remember, change up the paper, change up the stamps, and you can really use these for any gift card that you want to give. They don't have to necessarily be Christmassy. So if you would like any of the supplies that I used tonight or the stuff on the last chance list before it retires, I would encourage you to please go to my website. I'd love to earn your business. The address is heathersides.stampinup.net. If your order is under $150, please use this host code. It helps me to earn the prizes to be able to give to my customers. Also, if your order is over $150, don't use it because you'll have some rewards coming to you, and I want to make sure that you get them. That's what I've got for you guys tonight. If you liked what you saw tonight, then please, like this video, share this video. Also, I upload it to YouTube, and so if you're watching on YouTube, give me a thumbs up, share the video. All those things help with the analytics, which both platforms kind of like, and they say, oh, people are liking this and sharing it, so let's put it out there more, and it just helps me to grow my business, so I really appreciate it. Thank you, Talina. Talina says she loves them all. I really did have fun making these. So I hope you guys all have a wonderful Christmas and a safe Christmas. I will be back next Wednesday with some more cards for you. And then following that, I will be here on New Year's Day at 5 p.m. doing my Paper Pumpkin alternate kit ideas for you with the kit that's coming out, the So Punny kit. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys at those, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.